And welcome back to Storytime with Mrs. Craig, lockdown number 2. So this is the first of our stories this time in lockdown, and today I've chosen a really special one called Mr. Whistler by Margaret Mahy. Let's get started. And you can see the title page has got Mr. Whistler, Margaret Mahy and Gavin Bishop. And you can see some musical notes. Some of you play the piano and instruments, and you'll know that those are the notes that tell us how to play our instruments. Right, let's see what happens in this story. I'll try and make the page go right on for you. Let's have a look. So it's this page first. Here we go. Mr. Whistler woke up kicking his feet in the air. His sheets were twined and tangled around him, and his room was full of echoes. He'd been singing and dancing in his sleep. Then the phone rang. "This is your great Aunt Lydia Whistler." "Listen, Whistler, I can't see anything through my smeary windows. I wish you'd come over and clean them for me right away." Mr. Whistler sighed. Such a lively song was singing itself in his head. His twitching feet were longing to dance. But he put on his spotted underpants, his neat blue trousers, and his undershirt. He put on a clean ironed shirt, a waistcoat, and a big green coat with a fur collar. Last of all, he clapped his hat on his head. Can you see his hat on his head there? Mrs. Craig got a jacket with a fur collar, and you've seen it, haven't you? He went to the train station and bought a ticket to Whistle Stop. Now think carefully, he told himself. The song on his head was making him scatterbrained. Have I washed my face? Yes. Did I brush my teeth? Yes. Am I neatly dressed? Yes, neat as a pin. Have I got my ticket? Yes, it's here in my hand. Do I have a nice, clean, freshly ironed handkerchief? Let me check. All the time the song raced round and round in his head, and his feet tried to dance around him on the platform. And here he is in his gorgeous jacket and those pants. See the jacket with the fur coat? And he's trying to dance. Can you see that ticket in his hat? Mr. Whistler slid his ticket between his fine white brushed teeth, freshly brushed teeth. He felt in his big coat pockets. Right, no left, no top left, good. His handkerchief was safely folded in his top left pocket. But, Mr. Whistler patted himself wildly. He felt again in the bottom of the pockets of his big coat. He felt in his top pocket. Nothing there but the handkerchief. No ticket. We're going to have a look at the picture, and we can see in the illustration, we know where the ticket is. Silly Mr. Whistler. Can you see where the ticket is? Clenched between his teeth. And we talked the other day about the word clenched, meaning gripped between. Oh, it must be in my jacket, he thought, and he danced his way out of his coat so he could feel in his jacket pockets. Nothing in the top pockets except a 20-cent piece and a ballpoint pen. Nothing in the bottom pockets except a piece of string and a button. Mr. Whistler tap-danced impatiently. Some really good, words in this story. Mr. Whistler's waistcoat fitted so snugly it was hard to reach his shirt pocket. Swish! He whisked his waistcoat off, folding it neatly as he danced, and he laid it delicately down on his jacket and coat. He poked his fingers into the little top pockets of his shirt. Nothing in his right pocket, nothing in his left. Oh, I am a fool, thought Mr. Whistler. It must be in my trouser pocket. Can you see the ticket? I can. He's silly, isn't he? He felt in his right pocket, he felt in his left pocket. Nothing, Quickly, quickly, Mr. Whistler spun in wild circles, keeping time with the music in his head. Nothing, nothing. No, wait, there was something. His left-hand pocket had a hole in it. Oh no, said Mr. Whistler. My ticket's fallen right out through the hole. It's worked its way right down into my trousers. Can you see the ticket? I can. Uh-oh! Mr. Whistler danced out of his trousers. People gasped at his elegant spotted pants and his clean undershirt, but he was too busy turning his trousers inside out to notice nothing. He turned his trousers upside down and he shook them. No ticket, nothing. He looks hilarious. Can you see the ticket? Mr. Whistler clapped his hands to his head in dancing despair. My hat, he suddenly thought. Of course, I've put my ticket in my hat band. Can you see the band that runs round his hat? He took off his hat, but no, the hat band was empty. Mr. Whistler danced with fury, tossing his hat into the pile of clothes. Wow, what a pile of clothes he's made. Suddenly, people were clapping and cheering. Oh, what dancing, they cried. What energy, what grace. Mr. Whistler looked around. People began dropping money into his hat. I've lost my ticket, Mr. Whistler wailed. And as he wailed, I wonder what wailed means, something flew out from between his teeth and fluttered to the ground like a butterfly. My ticket, Mr. Whistler yelled. He scooped up the ticket and he kissed it. But I must dress. Great Aunt Lydia will be furious if I turn up in my underwear. And I'll open that right up so you can get a good look at the page. So there he is. He's found the ticket. It fluttered down to the ground like a butterfly. And there's all the people watching. For dressing, he needed both hands. Again, he slid his ticket between his fine, strong teeth. Uh-oh. Into his waistcoat, into his jacket, quickly, 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 into his big coat. Hurry! I'll open this one right up and let you see. Then he picked up his hat. It was overflowing with money. He poured the money into his coat pockets and he made a deep bow. Everyone cheered and clapped as he ran for the train and leaped gracefully aboard. All was well. Mr. Whistler was dressed again. He was on the train. But where was his ticket? It was in his mouth, safely clenched between his teeth. Mr. Whistler laughed. His ticket flapped like a mad moth to the back of his mouth. Mr. Whistler choked and swallowed. He swallowed the ticket. Good grief, he's just a disaster, isn't he? So now he's swallowed his ticket. What's going to happen? Mr. Whistler had to buy a new ticket when the guard came around. Wasn't it a lucky thing that he earned all that money with his wild dancing? And we know that the man in the train who sells the ticket is called a ticket guard. And you can see him ripping a new ticket off for Mr. Whistler. And that's the end of the story. That's the last page with all the publishing details. What a great story that was. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. And I have read that story many, many times, and I love it more every time I read. Did you notice that they used some similes in there? The ticket flapped in his mouth like a wild moth. The ticket fluttered to the ground like a butterfly. I wonder if you can put some similes into your writing this week. That would make me very proud. Okay, that's all for today for Storytime. See you tomorrow.